Thank you guys so much for being patient and for coming to today's live Technical Tuesday session. My name is Melvin, and I'm one of the creators or founders of Forex Anatomy. And what we do every Tuesday is we go and we look at technical setups, especially on our two favorite pairs, which is the Euro USD and the US dollar Japanese yen. And to be honest with you, one of those pairs isn't becoming one of my favorite pairs as of lately. But what we're going to do is try to see if we can identify some high probability setups in the market. And yeah, that's the purpose of today's session. So then with that said, right now we're looking at the Euro USD, and we're currently looking at the daily time frame. And as you guys know, this pair broke out of this channel. I think we talked about this during the last Technical Tuesday session, but we had this expansion higher to the upside. And what this move did was create a bullish bias for this pair. Right now, we want to look for opportunities to buy Euro USD on pullbacks, mainly due to the fact that when price had this impulse move to the upside, it broke above two swing highs. It broke above this swing high right here. We can see that it broke and closed above it, and it broke and closed above this swing high right here, broke and closed above it by a little bit. But the very fact that it broke two recent or previous swing highs lets us know that this market is bullish on the daily time frame, and we need to look for opportunities to buy. Now the question is, when do we buy? Because just because you have a bias doesn't mean that you should look for a buying opportunity at any moment. You should always wait for price to get to a particular area or zone that you want to identify. Now we can see here clearly that last week, and even for a little bit, well, really all of last week or most of last week, we saw price correct on the Euro USD. We see this correction lower and this pullback lower, and that's mainly due to some US dollar strength that kicked in right around this particular area. But even if you look structurally, you can look and you can see that we're hitting this zone of supply. This was a daily zone of resistance. We drew in this box. I don't know if you guys can see it. We have this orange box here that identifies this daily zone of structure resistance. And when price hit this zone, that's when we saw this correction take place. So then right now, I'm expecting for price to maybe show signs of US dollar strength maybe for today. However, we're going to pretty soon a buying opportunity is going to take place. And what I think is going to happen is that, we should see a buying opportunity take place somewhere within this zone. I'm thinking somewhere around this purple line right here, which is at 1055 or around 1050. We may see the buyers come in on this pair. But what we're going to do is wait for price to retrace a little bit deeper. And for this pair, we're going to look for a buying opportunity upon bullish confirmation. But before we do that, let me first draw this in. Let me change the color. So we want to see a deeper retracement into this zone by a little bit. And then from there, what we want to do is drop down to a smaller time frame, like maybe the 1 hour or 4 hour, whatever time frame suits you. And we want to look for opportunities to buy on bullish confirmation. But here's what I'm going to tell you is going to happen. I believe when price pushes a little bit lower in this zone, we may see some consolidation or some bottoming take place, on this pair, on the 1 hour before we see that impulse move higher. So then for this pair, what you could do is just wait for that bullish bias to happen. Wait for that bottoming or that consolidation to take place. We believe that it's going to take place maybe a little bit deeper in this zone that we just identified, this zone between, I know it's pretty big, 1030, you could say 1.1030, you could say, and 1.1075, somewhere within this zone, we're going to see consolidation and bottoming on the 1 hour time frame. But I believe above this purple line, we could see it. And to be honest with you, there's a possibility for us to see it right now. Price may be forming what we will consider a particular chart pattern. What could be potentially forming right now for this pair? What classical chart pattern? For those who are familiar with classical chart patterns, what may be forming now? It hasn't formed yet, but it could potentially be forming, especially if we get a break and close above this swing high up here. Let me change that color. But if we get a break and close above this swing high right here, this could be forming. And I know Brandon chimed in. He's one of our members of our private trading community. But yeah, he's correct. What we could possibly be seeing right now is a double bottom. Some people call it a W pattern. But that's what we see right now. We see this bottom right here. We see price push down lower. It corrects higher. Then it retests its lows. It forms a double bottom, but it doesn't confirm that we're seeing a reversal yet until price breaks these highs. All it did was retest these lows. So then, right now that reversal signal hasn't been confirmed. It's only a true reversal pattern, a true double bottom reversal pattern when price breaks the swing high above here. So then that's what we have to wait for. In the meanwhile, what we should do is look for opportunities to sell on bearish confirmation. So then if we get an opportunity, let's just say that price maybe pushes into this zone. Like, let me just use this as an example. Let's just say that price decides to push into this zone, because it's pretty obvious this is an important area of structure resistance on the 1 hour time frame. You can even look historically and see that we saw consolidation right around here. Remember, the market leaves clues. It tells you where certain key levels or certain key zones are located. Whenever you see consolidation, like right here, we see this small consolidation right here, and whenever you see wicks and obvious areas or turns in price, then those are zones that you need to identify and isolate. So then right here we see this zone of possible supply on the 1 hour time frame. Now let's just assume that price decides to push higher into this zone. If price decides to push into this zone and we don't get a break above this swing high up here, then you want to look for an opportunity to sell upon bearish confirmation. But if we do get a break and close above this swing high, then you want to look for opportunities to buy on a pullback in price. So then from here, once we get that break and close, you'll look for that retracement, maybe to retest this neckline again, most likely to retest the neckline or this area right around here. And then that's when we'll look for our buying opportunity on bullish confirmation. And since we're trading this off of what we observed on the daily time frame, you can just target the highs. Let me just zoom out so that we can see this better. You can just target the highs up here if you want to, or just target this structure area right here, because it's pretty apparent that we may encounter some supply or some resistance in this area. But if we do find a chance to buy, then we can actually hold out our trade and trade it all the way up until we reach these highs up here. And that could be where we exit our position. That's if we get a break and close above this high. We'll wait for the correction and then we'll enter our buy on bullish confirmation. However, I'm thinking that we may see a continuation of this move lower, deeper into the zone. However, you have to be mindful that anything can happen. You have to be fluid with your trading strategy. Whenever you're trading, you have to use an if-then syntax. In other words, like, if price does this, then do this. But if price does this, then do this. You have to have that type of approach with your trading and in your trading plan. That's how most professional traders trade. So then I'm looking at it like this. If price pushes higher and breaks above this zone right here and closes above this high right here, then I want to look for an opportunity to buy on a pullback. However, if price pushes deeper into this zone, then what I want to do is look for consolidation, look for some sort of bottoming on the 1 hour, and then wait for the breakout to happen. So then that's what I'm looking for. So then this is the Euro USD. That's how I'm going to play this particular pair out in the meanwhile. Also, this is something else that you could do. I'm just going to also add something else to this Technical Tuesday session. We can see here that price is sort of trending, you could say, to the downside. We have this counter trend line. If you wanted to, you could do something like this, where if price does push higher and we get the correction, if you're concerned about this trend line, which you should be, you can always wait for price to break above this trend line and then wait for another retest or a pullback to retest that trend line as support now before you decide to go long again. So then you can also trade it like that as well. So and then trade it higher, either up into this area right here, or you can shoot for these highs up here. So yeah, but that's how we're going to trade the Euro USD. Now, are there any questions about this particular technical setup that we're looking at right now and that we're observing in the market? Just let me know if you guys have any questions. It could be a simple question. These sessions are for you guys. We really want you guys to really know what's taking place on the Euro USD. A few pieces we're missing, we haven't revealed. A lot of it is for our premium members, but you guys should get the idea of how to approach this. Just look for breakouts. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for either a breakout to the upside right here, or we're looking for price to consolidate within this zone and for us to see another breakout to the upside. That's what we're looking for. Because remember, our bias is bullish based on what we observed on the daily time frame. We do not want to fight against that dominant trend. In this case, in particular, the trend is your friend. Yep. So yeah, I know Marvin, my brother's here. I don't know if he has something that he wanted to share about the Euro USD. Did you have something you wanted to share?
Yeah, well, sort of. Well, kind of. One thing I just wanted to talk about. I know. Well, Trade Buster says screen display too small. Are you viewing this through your mobile, or are you viewing this through a computer or a laptop? Because there'll be some variance between that.
Well, I could see if I could try to stretch this out a little bit. Make this a little bit bigger. But yeah, I hope. Yeah, he said desktop. Well, yeah. Well, maybe on the recording, it'll probably look a little bit better. I know for today, since we were running late, like we had to record the entire screen, the entire screen. So then that's the reason why the chart may look kind of small, because of that. But yeah, we apologize for that.
Yeah, but yeah. One thing I just really wanted to bring up is that, of course, today will be the first day of the Fed 2-day FOMC meeting, which we know for sure, based on the Fed funds future rate, that there's an expectation that we will get a 25 basis point rate cut. There's the likelihood and possibility of that due to the Fed just wanted to put it in an assurance cut and help to prop up and support the economy if there's a delay in some of the geopolitical issues like U.S.-China trade war and even Brexit. But from what we've been hearing, there's some positive developments coming out of the U.S.-China trade talks. So there's this just a good expectation that there will be some resolve and some agreement when they meet really, really soon. So then, of course, this is all going to affect the risk mood surrounding Euro USD and even some of our other US dollar denominated currency pairs. But yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to point out. I know for today we have I think housing numbers coming out, and also consumer confidence that will be released that will also affect the dollar, the US dollar. But
Yeah, I know. We had a few comments. Yeah, I'm on a 25 4-inch monitor, and you look good to me. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it could just be your display, and as far as the person that's not able to see it good enough. But yeah,
Yeah, during our next technical Tuesday, we'll make sure to adjust the screen dimensions, and so we won't see the whole screen. But yeah.
yeah. So yeah, are there any questions about the Euro USD or the fiber before we move forward? This is what we're looking for. I know Marvin gave you a little bit of some fundamental backdrop. Just some things for you to be mindful of when trading this pair. I know also tomorrow we have an announcement. I think that could affect the US dollar.
Well,
Right?
yeah, that's what I was talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
I think we'll see volatility limited for today due to the FOMC statement. They're going to make their monetary policy decision and report on tomorrow, so then that will definitely affect volatility to some degree. But for this week in particular, it's a pretty risk heavy week. We have a lot of event risk with three central banks coming out with monetary policy statements. We have U.S. non-farms payroll that will also limit the movements in the dollar. But we also have some consumption, expenditure, and just other various economic indicators that would definitely restrict flows in both currencies, or sort of manipulate or influence the values or exchange rates in these currency pairs. So then that's what you have this week. But for the most part, we're a technical system. We primarily trade due to technical analysis. We just use the fundamentals and intermarket analysis to help confirm or encourage a trade decision or a bias. But for the most part, we look at what our charts are showing us with support, resistance, with trend, with price behavior, and we trade based on that. So, but yeah.
Yeah. So just like Marvin said, we may be in consolidation. So then, you have to be aware of any possible alternative play in the market. So then we gave you two ideas, and well, really we gave you three. This is the last one. If price tests this zone and then finds resistance, is not able to break this zone, we could see price fall lower from there, and retest these lows. We may see price consolidate. It may just fall and retest these lows again, prior to tomorrow. Because what typically happens, especially before a big announcement, we typically see the market consolidate, just like Marvin mentioned. So then we have three scenarios that can play out. Either we get a break to the upside and a correction and then an expansion higher. Either we'll see another deeper fall into this zone of demand, and we'll see price consolidate or bottom, and then we'll see the breakout happen. Or we could see price hit this zone. We'll see bearish confirmation and price slide lower. It could just be consolidating in a range prior to tomorrow's announcement. So then those three scenarios can play out. So then just bear that in mind, and just pay attention to what happens when price hits these key critical zones. This is a key critical zone, and of course we know that down here is a key critical zone. All right. So with that said, what we can do right now is go to the US dollar Japanese yen. And what I'm going to do before I even do that, I'm going to go to the monthly chart, because there's something that I want to point out on the monthly chart of the US dollar Japanese yen. Remember, guys, whenever you do your trading, it's always important to do top-down analysis. Now, I usually start at the weekly and then I work my way down. However, there are times when you have to go to the monthly time frame to provide some context. Okay. So all right. So then right now we're looking at the monthly time frame of the US dollar Japanese yen, which is one pair that, it's kind of difficult right now to trade, to be honest with you. I know personally a lot of traders that's staying away from the US dollar Japanese yen. But the reason why is because it's just been kind of crazy. There's been a lot of indecision. It's just been a hard pair to really grapple and really figure out what's happening lately. But if we look at the daily, it's pretty apparent that price, found resistance at these lows right here. We see this, support at these lows here. I said resistance, I mean support. Right at these lows here. Let me just zoom in to see this, so we can see this a little bit better. But we see here that price found some support down here, and then we see this bounce higher. And for the month of September, it was a bullish month. Price respected this zone, and we, saw price rebound from there. And throughout September, we saw this bullish move to the upside. Well, we sort of see a continuation of that even in October. In October, we saw price retrace a little bit, which is pretty obvious. And then from there, we saw price push higher. So then it corrected, and then it continued its move to the upside. And with the way this candle is looking right now, it's looking like we may close bullish for the month. Most likely we will. This is going to be a bullish close. So then what we could expect is a continuation of bullish momentum, maybe even to test this trend line that we drew in right here. This trend line right here. But what we want to do now is go to a smaller time frame, because now that we know this is bullish, we want to see, is there anything that we see on a smaller time frame that could support a possible bullish move to the upside. So then what we're going to do is let me just zoom out again, and let me go and jump right down to the daily time frame. Okay, so right now we're looking at the daily time frame, and I see something right now that could be potentially taking place. Now, for those that are familiar with classical chart patterns, what is happening right now? What classical chart pattern do you see forming in the market right now, or potentially forming? This pattern won't be complete until we see the breakout. Okay, yes, Stuart chimed in, Marie chimed in. Yep, you guys are correct. We see what is called an inverted head and shoulders pattern. Yep, head and shoulders pattern. Yep, inverted. Yep, head and shoulders pattern. Yep. So yeah, I know some people call it head and shoulders, or some people call it inverted. The concept is the same, whether you call it upside down. Yeah, some people call it upside down head and shoulders. There's another name for it as well. Yeah, what we have is this head and shoulders formation that's upside down, that's inverted. So we call it an inverted head and shoulders. So then we have what you would consider the left shoulder right here, and then the formation of the first part of the neck, you could say. The head, then we get this neckline right here, and then we get this right shoulder right here, right? So then we see that the neckline is in this area. But one thing I want to point out is that we see this inverted head and shoulders pattern, which is a sign that we could see possible bullish momentum to the upside, a possible push to the upside. But even at this head, we see something else. What pattern do we see at this head? For those that do know, in this head area, what pattern do we see? This is just for learning purposes. But we also see something. Yeah, okay, Stuart chimed in, said a double bottom. Yep, a double bottom. Actually, this is what you would call a double bottom turtle soup. I believe we talked about it in one of our Technical Tuesday sessions. But we see here where price pushed lower, took out the stops that was below here.
Absorbed that liquidity.
Yeah. It absorbed all of that liquidity, and then what we saw from there is price expand and explode higher. Typically, when you see a move like this, you can expect a nice expansion to the upside. But the very fact that we see two reversal patterns, we see this double bottom and we see this inverted head and shoulders, it's a sign, it's a double confirmation that we should see a continued press or push to the upside. Usually when you get that double confirmation, then you know that you should see price expand higher. So then right now, we're in this zone, and we're just in wait and see mode, because a lot could happen. Because if you expand this out, it's pretty apparent that, let me just draw this out for you guys. We have this high right here. We have this is the high of the neckline. This is our true neckline high, or our true swing high. And until price breaks this high, we can't really fully conclude that the bulls are winning. Right now, we're still bearish, really. Right now, based off of how price action typically is. Even though we get the double confirmation, we're expecting an expansion to the upside, but nothing's confirmed yet until we get this break of this level up here. And for all we know, price could just continue to consolidate between this institutional level of 109. That's what we call an institutional psychological level, this 109.00 level. It could just consolidate between this 109 level and this daily structure support level right here that we just drew in. So right now, we just have to play this safe. Yeah. Okay. So then right now we're trying to, we need to play this safe. So what we're going to do is not do anything. Because as long as price is below this level, we could still see sellers come in to push price lower. And what we may see is that price may be trapped within this consolidation. I believe that, we may see price consolidate in this area right here before we see this nice expansion higher. That's just what I believe. So, right now we're just in wait and see mode. We're in this period of indecision for this pair. But right now we clearly see that the market is at least responding to this 109 institutional level. We saw that price attempted to push higher, found sellers up in this zone right here, or this area of supply, and then now we're seeing a bearish reaction to it. So let's go down to a smaller time frame to see what's happening. The wisest thing to do is to stay away from this pair, to be honest with you. But we may be able to find another opportunity to trade this pair, especially if we see certain things take place. So then what I'm going to do, the first thing I want to do is draw in this trend line right here. On this 1 hour time frame, we have this ascending trend line support right here. Right? So there's a possibility that we could see price fall and retest this zone again, this zone of daily structure support again that we talked about on the daily, before we see another expansion higher. It's quite possible for us to see that type of price action for today. So if we get a break of this trend line to the downside, and even a break of this particular zone, let me just draw it in, because it's pretty apparent we have this particular zone right here. If we see price fall lower and break below this trend line, this ascending trend line support, and below this zone of structure resistance, which would now act as support, then what we'll do is just wait for price to retrace higher and retest this zone, which was, former support, former resistance at this point, but it's now support. But if we see a break of that support, price may retest this zone again or retest this trend line before we see a continuation of this move lower. So then that's what we're looking for. And we can just trade it maybe down to this structure area right here, or we can trade it deeper into this zone. If you want to play it safe, then just trade it to this structure area right here. But that's what we could possibly see for the US dollar, Japanese yen. But like I said, this pair has been kind of difficult to really decipher. So then it's up to you how you want to play this particular currency pair, whether you want to participate in it or not. But if I was going to choose an option on which trade or which pair to trade, most likely it will be the Euro USD. It will be that setup that I talked about before. But if we do see something like this happen on the Japanese yen, then you can take this setup as well. Wait for price to break and expand lower, breaking before this, below this structure zone of resistance right here, or the structural zone, and then wait for price to correct and retest this zone before you look for an opportunity to sell. So that's pretty much it, guys. I don't have too much more to share with you guys. Do you have any questions about anything we just mentioned? About any pair like the Euro USD, US dollar, Japanese yen? Do you guys have any questions about what we talked about today?
Or even trading in general.
Yeah, or do you have any questions about anything trading related? Because of course we want to be of help to you guys. We really want to help you guys in any way that we can. This is a service that we're offering to our free members. So yeah. So alrighty. I guess there aren't any questions. Again, we apologize for being super late. I apologize. For some reason the software wasn't acting right, and then it froze, and it was a whole nother story. I don't want to get into it right now, but thank you guys for being patient. Thank you for waiting for us. We really do appreciate that. And we promise that we'll make it up to you guys sometime in the future. But until we meet again on our next Technical Tuesday session, we hope you guys have a wonderful, blessed day of trading. Remember to always count your blessings, not your pips. And we will definitely talk to you guys next week, unless you want to be a member of our private community, which we still have that $1 trial offer. So then if you are interested in joining the $1 trial offer, you can just go to forexanatomy.com/the lab. I think it's THE-lab. You can go to that website if you're interested in joining our private community and getting more information on how to be a solid technical trader.
Yeah. Yeah. Or, let's say you want to talk to us directly before you make a decision about what you want to do, whether or not you want to take the $1 trial. What we do offer, we offer 15 to 20 minute phone consultations. If you go to forexanatomy.com/appointment, then you can definitely schedule an appointment with us, a phone call, and we can just discuss everything with you. We can kind of help you walk through a particular issue that you may be having. But
even if you have a question that's trading related, like I know it's like the purpose of those calls are not to sell you, but to help you. But if you do have questions, that's one way you can ask your questions personally to us, is by taking advantage of that feature. So then you can set an appointment with us, and we will actually call you privately. We'll give you a personal phone call, and we can answer any of your questions that you may have, either in regards to our program or in trading in general. But the max is around 20 minutes. We'll just help you guys personally, just give you that one-on-one help that you need,
and it's free.
Yeah, and it's free. Yeah, and it's free, guys. It's free for for anyone. But yeah, you can just take advantage of that. But you can't take advantage of it all the time. We're only going to give you one time to take advantage of it, because I know some people, they would want to use it like almost every single week. You can't do that. You can only use it once. But all right, guys, thank you guys so much for everything, and we'll definitely talk to you guys soon. You guys have a wonderful, blessed day. We hope you guys got something out of today's Technical Tuesday session. And if you guys want more pairs and analysis on 20 or more currency pairs, where we find opportunities, then you can always join our private trading community and participate there. But thanks again, guys, and we'll see you guys next week. All right, talk to you guys later.